What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Business and Biceps. And you better wake your ass up, because on today's show, one of the main topics we're going to talk about is, are you a paper chaser?
There's no ER in that? Or what?
Come on, John!
Come on, man.
All right, are you a paper chaser or are you a businessman, and what's the difference? I think we got some great insight on those things, because I think all of us probably at one point in time have chased the money over building a business, so I think that's going to be some great dialogue. And we want to welcome back Robinhood, John. I know you're using the app like crazy.
Yeah, I'm stoked about that because I recently read that, listen, major online trading institutions in this country are, I'm not going to name them, but they're competitors, and they're highly established, and they're huge businesses. And I read in the Wall Street Journal that Robinhood had more trading accounts than the largest online trading institution. So congrats to them.
Absolutely.
And it shows how they are disrupting an industry by taking commission out of it and investing in people's ability to play the stock market and to invest. And they're really giving young people and people with, let's say, less of a financial backbone the opportunity to enjoy the fruits of our stock markets.
The entry point's amazing at Robinhood to be able to, trade without any fees.
Absolutely.
Which everybody is concerned about. And I think probably the reason why they're beating these other institutions is because they actually have a URL that has biceps in it, John.
Without a doubt.
It's biceps.robinhood.com to get a free stock such as Apple, Ford, or Sprint. If you guys go to biceps.robinhood.com.
Apple's moving up too.
I know.
It's pushing 200.
I mean, they want to give
man.
you guys a free
Pushing
stock.
200.
How can you pass that up?
Come on,
Maurice,
man.
you need to sign up and get your free stock.
I'm going to sign up. Matter of fact, I'll sign up Monday. There you go.
He's thinking about his schedule that he sends out. He's like, I'm going to sign up after.
You're gonna put that in your calendar?
Yeah, put that in your calendar.
So this week is slammed. That's already
He
done.
can't sign up because this week.
Don't wait as long as Maurice waits to
Like,
sign up.
Now the app's
Do it
gonna
right now.
The app's going to have to wait.
Jeez.
Yeah, my week is slammed. So I don't know. I was sitting here. I see what this is totally off subject, but I see what art does to you because I'm like looking at the stuff on the wall and I'm starting to think. And I had nothing to do. I probably got the best view in the room. I get to like.
I know you guys can't see it, but he's looking at John's original Rage Against the Machine posters that are on the wall.
1997, man.
And not only does the art do something, but the intensity of Rage Against the Machine is undenied.
And there's a purpose behind all of them. They all represent something. They all represent a struggle and a fight and a battle.
Each one of these do?
Oh, absolutely.
You know what would be cool, John? That would be great content to put on Instagram.
Absolutely.
You should go over each one.
Yeah.
Jeremy, make sure that happens.
Yes. So me watching it is kind of cool. Just kind of cool. I don't know. I don't even know how I got on the art, but I was on it.
All right, so John, let's start with you on chasing paper over businessman. The difference. Have you experienced it personally? Quick story,
Sure.
and we'll kind of each weigh in on it.
I would say my general understanding of this, and I think we're all going to have different perspectives, is that there's a lack of understanding when it comes to what it takes to build a business or create a business. So people think that building a business is generating money, is making money. I do this so I can make money. You know what I'm saying? And I will tell every listener, if money is your driver and the thing or the service comes second, that is your recipe or anyone's recipe for failure. The thing must come first. The service must come first, and then the money must come afterwards, because you either need to bring a product or service that people need and has value to get that money. If you're focused on the money and not providing value for people, why are people going to give you their money? You're not thinking about fixing anything. You're not thinking about adding anything to people's lives. You're thinking about enriching yourself at the cost of others. And in business, you have to put other people first and then figure out how it circles back to you and how you fit into the equation and how you can benefit. And again, I'll say this, and I say it on so many podcasts, a good deal is when both sides win, because that deal is sustainable, that deal is repeatable, and essentially that's what a business is, right? You make a deal with your customer, they're satisfied, and you get compensated. And I think a lot of people misunderstand the fact that they must provide value and their money comes after, not the reverse.
Love it. Go ahead, Mo.
I don't know. When I first heard the topic, it just kind of brought me back to when I was kind of in that space. And I think that, and it's not to the person's fault who is running out here and just trying to generate money. But it's kind of like to what you said at first. When you're trying to be somewhat of an entrepreneur who turns businessman, you're trying to see what works. So you start off with an idea and say, hey, I want to do X, and then X isn't producing the revenue or the money that you want, so you stick your hand to something else, and then that something else becomes something else. And I think conceptually, when the topic was brought up, I think the disparity that we were trying to get to is the importance of no matter what's going on, if I'm building X business, let me build this business and let me have intention on why I'm building this business and stay in that lane. Let me not sort of be like the jack of all trades, the master of none. Or is that the way you say it?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But over time, I've seen how thin you spread yourself, how crazy you go, and how inconsistent either with meetings or gaining more knowledge about what you should know in one space, or just becoming like focused and dialed in and providing service to somebody when you're not on one thing. And I had trucking, packaging, speaking, and selling products going on at one moment. And I was generating revenue and I was generating money and I had checks coming in. And to the outside looking in, they would view that as success. But my mind was everywhere because I was constantly juggling conversations about all these things that weren't one thing. And then when I finally dialed in and said, hey, I'm going to do this one thing, which is what I'm doing now at the Red Zone. I do multiple things, but everything kind of stems off of that one thing. Everything becomes a spinoff of the main thing, and it's not like I'm in 55 different industries. And now that's not to say that, a person doesn't grow into be into all other industries, but I think one thing should build all of the industries. Like, I can only take Dan Gilbert. Dan Gilbert has 187 companies, but a lot of them,
crazy.
but they stem from. So he owns the Fatheads deal.
Yeah, I knew that.
But he owns the Cavs, and he owns the sports. It stems from a sports and memorabilia place, right? He has a ton to do with real estate, and so he owns the mortgage company. They all feed off of each other,
and they're all fed by Quicken Loans.
Yeah, vertical integration.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So when you're talking about I lost my train of thought. When you're talking about being in multiple spaces, I guess I would guess, or my advice would be to not start in multiple spaces, is to start in one space and master the one space. And as silly as it sounds, and I think you said this last week, you were talking about either a banker or a financial advisor. Lawyer. He told you about John, don't sell gloves and T-shirts and everything else. Sell one thing, master that one thing, brand that one thing, and then come from there. But I think you go back to it comes back to patience. And just because you say that you run a business or own a business, it doesn't mean that you have to generate $1 million overnight. And having the patience,
because that's probably not going to happen anyway.
Yeah, but but that I think I think when you put yourself out there, and I tell John I'm a businessman, like I think society says that I have to be wildly successful overnight. And if I've posed on Instagram or to my friends that I'm a business owner, and that it happens like this, then I have to do all of these other things to project myself. Like, I've bucked the system. I've not went to go get me a job, so I have to act like this life is a lot cooler and more financially beneficial, and that may not always be the case in every situation. There may be a process to build this, and eventually over time it becomes like that, but it just doesn't happen like that initially. That's my thought on it, or my 2 cents.
Yeah, I think that if I think back, it's like I was in the space that made the most sense for me, but I was really starting this, chasing that, starting this, chasing that, starting this, chasing that. And if I think back, if I would have spent the time just on the craft, to John's point, like just working on what I'm good at, then and the people, because my business initially is personal training, so it's all about just helping people, right? So if I was worried about how do I just get their results so much better than everyone else's, instead of doing this, doing that, trying to figure, I was like, because I used to mess around with multi-level marketing back in the day, which is always short-term stuff. There are some people that made long-term money in it, but I was always starting and doing these things, looking for it when it was right there underneath what I was already doing, because it was already aligned with my passion.
Yeah.
And so instead of chasing paper, I should have just been working on my craft. And when I decided to only work on my craft, the money started to open up, and then so did the opportunities, because, and I tell this to a lot of these young guys, whether they're doing photography, video, whatever it is, be a boss at what you do. The opportunities are going to be there.
Yeah.
Right, John?
Yeah, I mean, if without a doubt, man. And I mean, it's about investing into yourself, and I think there's a misconception that you need to go all in on a business, and it's just got to be all in, and we have to talk about levels, right? Because there's the beginner level, and then there's people who have done it before, and there's people who have done it many times. I mean, I think if we're talking about the beginner level, you have to look at the fact that there's nothing smarter you could do when you're starting a business as a beginner than have a job. Because when you have a job, you take that financial pressure off your back. And if you're really about the business and about growing it, you will find time in the evenings, you will find time on the weekends, and you will develop this thing because it's in you, it's part of you, it's in your DNA, you love it. But when people say, oh, I'm going to start a business, they go all in, well, all of a sudden this financial burden, which is like a clock, starts fucking ticking
quick.
Yes.
And
Real quick.
And then their decision making starts to get fucked, because all they're thinking about is, oh shit, I got to get this money back. We've burned through half of our money. It's like, dude, it's your first at bat. You're trying to hit Randy Johnson's fastball. It's not going to happen, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got to go to the batting cages at night after your job.
Yeah. You got to hit it at 50 mile an hour before you try to hit it at 100.
I mean, but I think you should dig on that even more, and I think that you hit it right. Basically, don't put that pressure on yourself by vacating your job, and if it's really in you, it causes for you to sacrifice more, work your job and build your thing up in your spare time. And if it's really in you, you'll have the passion in you to spend the allotted time and those extra hours. And I can't go watch the Cleveland Cavs tonight. I can't go hang out with Cory at Applebee's tonight. I can't go hang out with my girl and watch The Incredibles. You know what I'm saying? I can't go whatever it is that you may do.
Right.
Basically, what you're saying. I just wanted to make sure, because as you were hitting on that, and I just thought about that. Even when you said, I was like, oh shit, that does make a lot of sense. People vacate, but then that financial clock comes, and then you're like, I got to make shit happen. So then what happens is that person goes into 55 different areas, and you actually lose focus on what the hell you should and could be doing.
Right.
But I don't want to steal your words, but it could. It's going to take longer and more out of you by working those hours after your.
But that's the training ground. So that I think that's the second part of it, right? Because if you are going to be a successful entrepreneur, a successful business owner, having two jobs or having a job and then creating a business ain't shit from a time standpoint compared to running a successful business. Running a successful business will take up way more fucking time, way more fucking energy than developing a concept and having a job at the same time. So essentially you're training yourself to put in the fucking time. And if that time wears you out, you know, we talked about this in our book, Entrepreneur or Wantrepreneur. A lot of people are wantrepreneurs. They want to fucking do it. But when it comes time to be an entrepreneur, man, this is too much. You know what I'm saying? So find out on someone else's fucking dollar. You know what I'm saying?
Hey.
And if it's like, this shit's too much,
hey, sometimes
don't
it wears
do
out
it.
the best of us. All of us have felt like that before.
Dude,
Right?
I'll give you a great example. So organizationally, you know, put like this. So we had reviews from people who we service, be it, you know, courts and partners in the community and schools and everything else. We had some hard reviews. And so with these reviews, hard conversations had to be had, right? And so, you can't get better if you only want to hear good shit. You know what I'm saying? And we can't get better if the head coach who we had right now in place, only got us to 4-6. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't work. And so what that caused, when you talk about entrepreneur, I drove to Youngstown, and for those who don't know, that's a 6-hour drive every day this week. Woke up at 4. Monday I was there, Tuesday I was there, Wednesday I was there, going back and forth, and just the amount of time, right? And then when you get there, I'm not saying, hey, let's go get a fucking coffee. Let's,
That's probably the least amount of what you're saying.
No, you dialed in and you handling business, and you're handling business till 7:30, 8 at night, and getting back in the car and driving 3 hours just so you can be a father to your kid for an hour, and a husband to your wife, for an hour. You know what I'm saying? But when you talk about how bad do you want it, and then in the midst of all that, gentleman called me and said, hey, I need you in Dayton tomorrow, right? Out the blue, hey, and I need you to have a full-fledged presentation. Now, when I first hear that, it's like, oh, I don't even have my suit. All my suits are shit packed up because I'm moving. Now you're scrambling to get clothes, but he doesn't want to hear that you're moving. He
don't care.
He doesn't care. This is your opportunity. You know what I'm saying? And I've already made a commitment to drive. What did I do this morning? I called Cory. I said, Cory, how long is this trip away from your house, right? I've already made
He's
a commitment.
Trying to multitask. He delegated to me to figure out how long his trip was. But it's okay, though. I ain't mad at him. We're all team here at Business and Biceps.
But I've made this commitment already, you know what I'm saying, to be out here. You know what I'm saying? And so I can't divulge from this commitment because this has other people. But in this process, what you're saying, if you're conditioning yourself to work a job and to do that extra, you're conditioning yourself to work 10, 12-hour days like it's fucking no tomorrow. And like, when Cory talks about does it beat you up, fuck, do I want to go to Youngstown 3 days in a row in the car?
No.
Fuck no. You know what I'm saying? Do you want to host meetings in your lap? Do you want to, like, I've eaten fast food every day. It's not nothing I want to do, but you're on the fucking road, you're hungry, let me grab some fast food. Not the best choice, but you ripping and running and you handling business and you dialed in. But at the end of yesterday, I remember going to the gas station. I was at a gas station halfway in between, and I was pumping the gas, and I was looking around, and I said, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else but you out here in the jungle on your own. You in the middle of fucking, I don't even know what part of Ohio this was, but you out here in the middle of Ohio, pumping gas in the middle of fucking nowhere, and you got your Levi's on, your shoes dirty, you sweating, you smelling like the day. You know what I'm saying? Right. And you're sitting here like, this is what I want for myself, but it also costs a price. I didn't get a chance to sit down comfortably and watch the game like everybody else. I didn't get a chance to, experience the first part of the summer with my daughter every day. It takes fucking 6 hours and they're handling personal business, but does it kick your ass? Fuck yeah, it kicks your ass. And there's a bunch of inconvenient times, but being able to deliver on a drop of a dime. Like this morning, I'm calling executive director, yo, we need to go down to Trotwood. We got to have A through Z
you
ready.
You got to be able to be agile.
But you have to perform at a high level because you can't come through the door like, yo, I had this on, that on, this on, that on. It's the same thing we preach to somebody. What people want to see, they want to see high energy. They want to see preparedness. They want to see you know what the hell you're talking about, and they want you to deliver what you say that you have.
Nobody gives that's another thing people have to understand. Nobody, you two, everyone in the room, nobody gives a fuck about what the other person has got going on until we get in and we start doing our objective. Listen, everyone's got their shit going on, right?
100%.
That's just the fucking harsh reality. And when people start thinking that what they have going on in life plays a part, and people should be empathetic and understanding. Listen, if someone's empathetic and understanding, that's awesome. That's great. But don't expect shit from anybody because everyone's got their own fucking problems. Everyone's got their own fucking challenges, and it's on you to work it out. When you walk in a business setting, like you referenced that guy said, I got to be in Dayton. No, he ain't hearing your fucking suit. He ain't hearing your fucking shit. He ain't hearing nothing. You got to be in Dayton, and people who, let's say, aren't in it yet and who may be chasing money and who want to build business, they have to understand the absolute 100% unwavering nature of get it done.
Get it fucking done.
That's just it. It's like save your fucking excuses, quit being a fucking pussy, and decide if this life is for you.
Yes.
If this life is for you, don't be a fucking bitch. Just fucking do what it takes. And the dude who's giving you opportunity, you could tell him your suit's not fucking ready. You want to spend time with he's about to give you an opportunity.
Yep.
You want to be a bitch?
Maurice don't want to be a bitch.
Oh, man.
I want to go back to your point earlier, John, because I had something to add to it about building your side business while you have a job. I went through that transition when basically from, basically having the personal training business to when I started into supplements. And that was a kind of a big thing because as the supplement business started to grow, we had to hire people. And with the money at that point wasn't big enough to go around, so I still needed to train clients. All the people don't realize I trained clients for 2 years into the business at MP. And until it made sense to where they were both basically at the point where I was like, all right, I'm about to give away $100,000 plus business because it's taking too much time that I can get my income at least, laterally. I just couldn't do them both anymore. And so I really believe in being pushed into it to where it's like people are always talking about security. Well, nothing's really secure. So it's like at the end of the day, if you have a job, you're not secure, they can come in the next day and tell you you're fucking fired.
100%.
You know what I mean? You can, in the business that you grow, something could change completely and it could go away
Not the
tomorrow
business,
too.
100%.
Doesn't matter. So at the end of the day, I don't even think about, I just think if I'm doing my necessary duties, if I'm being creative, if I'm working in trying to get better at all these things, that's my security, my skill set, my craft. Because,
100%.
right? But at the end of the day,
100%.
I made sure I didn't leave the left side job, personal training, even though I hated it literally at that point. Like one-on-one training was driving me absolutely crazy. I felt like I was babysitting all these people that didn't want to be there. It was like I was over it by like probably 3 years. But I still stayed there every day because it wasn't ready yet.
Yeah, no. I mean, I just think that's just a sound move. You can say, one, I'm conditioning, and then two, I'm making a sound move to not put myself in a situation that's going to make me make desperate choices.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
Because then there's too bad. You're not making great decisions at that point.
No,
you can't.
Yeah, no, but I also believe that what helps you to do that is basically running a lean life, and I'm talking about lean financially. You know
I
what I'm
was
saying?
at that time too.
And I'm just telling you how, like, the only way that I consistently even do what I do now. And literally, I've been very vocal. Like, just even the last year of everything that we were doing was paying down debt. So people would see us generating a ton of money, but we were paying down debt. But the reason that it didn't affect me because I didn't let the revenue lie to me. The revenue that the business was generating lied to me. I didn't let that get into my life. I didn't go out and say, hey, just since X revenue and since we have X employees, I need to project this life. You know what I'm saying? And that gets a person in a lot of trouble to put themselves in a situation where you're just doing so much crazy stuff to project something that isn't reality, right? And so what I did, I just make sure even now today, and this is just simple shit. Like, I might be like on a 3-shoe minimum for a year. You know what I'm saying? And I'm
3-shoe minimum. I love it.
Like, or maximum. Maximum. I said the wrong word. And so I'm talking about just buying black Nikes just because they won't fucking get dirty. Still to this day, buying Levi's because I say, okay, this shit will always stay in style. And buying like simple T-shirts, and then there's nothing else. I still got the same suits that I had on from years ago. You know what I'm saying? I may buy a shirt because the collar gets dirty if you have a white shirt, but it's still the same. And not letting anything outside of like your basic necessities for what you do and what you function, those become expenses now. I spend for my daughter's school because her education is non-negotiable, but my life for the most part is very lean, but that doesn't put me in a situation to make a bunch of bad choices. Lots of people can't wait to tell people that they work for themselves, but then there's this misconception that I'm an entrepreneur, I need to be rich. You know what I'm saying? I need to look rich. I need to look like I'm having a bunch of success. And then it puts
try to do it quick too. That's the problem.
But how bad does it put you? Like, you build your own.
You're lying to yourself. Like, if you want
and everybody else,
yes.
If you want to look rich, it's like, okay, cool. You could look rich for this period of time, but if and when your business goes down,
broke.
you're gonna look like a joke. And I don't really care how people look, whether they look rich or look not rich, and I just think it's really short-sighted to try to look rich. But to your point of living a lean life, I like that from a financial end, but I also like it from if you're trying to achieve great things in business and entrepreneurship. I like it from an activity standpoint, right? Because if you live a lean life in that you work, you eat right, you exercise, you have a creative outlook, and then you go to bed. If you keep your life lean in that way in terms of activities, you're not fucking, going out to the bar, you're not always hanging out with friends, you can't have both. You can't have this crazy social life and this fucking crazy work life. So when you live lean in your habits and you're repetitive and your days build off the fulfillment you get from accomplishment, that's just like living lean financially, because it's keeping your focus and it's keeping your resources dialed right towards your mental resources, dialing right towards that business that needs cultivation and growth. So we cannot take our finger off that and just think we could live this social life. I'm growing a business, blah, blah, blah. I should, do all this bullshit. It's like, that's how you go down, motherfucker. You're taking your eye off the ball. When you take your eye off the ball, you think you're something, and you may be that for 6 months, and then you ain't there no more, and you wonder why.
You think people are taking up the party a little too early, John?
I think the party is for losers.
So let me say this, right? So, and I just
Quote that shit on IG, Jeremy.
I want to give like a teachable
You got
deal.
1 minute, Mo. Let me hear it.
I give you a teachable deal, right? What John is like, and what we're trying to get across, that in business you have ups and downs. The leaner you stay, the more cushion you have to make mistakes.
Yes.
If your life is lean and something fucked up happened, your life isn't in disarray. So if you can get to your woman that we're not rich, we don't live this fabulous life, we have to let the business does what it do over some years, and you can be patient and disciplined in that practice, you can save yourself. So whether the pendulum swings up or down, my life is so simple and so secure that it won't cause me to make bad decisions. And that is 100% of the reason why I stay lean in my stuff until we get to a point where I say, okay, this shit is kind of rolling itself.
Is that the definition of easy decisions?
Fuck yeah, 100%, 100%. Like, easy yeses.
Easy yeses, that's what I meant.
Easy yeses.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to pay the bills, as Haven said. Let's go. All right, it's halftime. Maurice, I'm going to tell you, you can't wait till Monday to download the Robinhood app.
You going to tell me? Okay.
Now, physically, I feel a little bit uneasy about this.
No. So here we go.
Because you were as strong as I am at my best when you were like 16 years old.
No.
So I'm a little nervous about forcing you to do that. But I know it's not going to be forceful because they're going to give you a free stock, right, John?
Yeah, I mean, I want to hear Maurice talk about this. I'm curious.
All right, like, so we're going to do it Saturday when I have time.
Okay. Listen, I'm 2 days. I'm getting you a free stock,
Yeah, there we
Maurice,
go.
2 days earlier.
What
If you buy it over? Well, of course, the market's not open on Saturday. So really, we need to make it happen on Friday, John.
So and you know what? It will happen on Friday.
There you go.
Because if you get a stock at biceps.robinhood.com, and it's such as Apple, Ford, or Sprint, it could go up on Monday, Mo.
Make me a few dollars.
Yeah, you just made some money on one of the stocks. Are we allowed to talk about that, Jeremy? The ones, yeah.
We're not.
Yeah.
We can't talk about specific stocks that we're not. I'm not talking about giving it away.
Yeah,
for free.
we're not giving it away for free. Just ones that John bought through Robinhood. Okay, gotcha.
Can't give recommendations.
Yeah, I guess.
I'll just say one I bought.
Yeah, just say one you bought.
AXON. I bought it. I was telling Cory, it's at $1.80. It used to be at $23. They got some exciting shit coming up, and I'm like, Cory, check it out. Yesterday, it went up to $4.60. So it went from $1.80 to $4.60.
There we go.
Yeah.
And I haven't had 160% swing in a day.
It's a
in
lot.
Like 4 years.
There was a Wall Street Journal thing that came out that said 3 stocks that could quadruple or triple.
No. 10x.
10x
in the next 3 years. Shopify, which I went.
I'm about to buy some Shopify too.
Axon, which develops like police equipment like body cameras, and which all
They're mandating.
they're
Yep.
mandating. And they
Government
also,
money, boy.
Government money. Yeah.
they're al-
Mandates.
They're also in the biotech space, and they just got a huge agreement for some Parkinson's drug, and that's what spiked it up. So,
Yeah,
there are stocks out there. That's the point, that are $1. This thing cost me $1.80 a share. Now, sure, I leveled up on the shares, but people could have bought 10 shares. They could have bought 50 shares.
Yeah. I think it's fun because I'm not like I don't play in trading as much as John does, but it's fun for me to just put a couple G in there and mess around. And literally, because I'm trying to learn options right now, they have a whole thing on there, which is a little bit more of a kind of extensive financial product, but I'm trying to learn stuff like that. And Robinhood gives, I mean, whether you're extremely beginner and you got $100,
Right.
or you can put in major money and you do some deep dives like John does, it's there for you. I love it.
It's easily the best trading app there is. I could say that. I mean, from a user interface standpoint, from an ease of use, and obviously the lack of commissions, it's a winner, and that's why it's doing what it's doing in the marketplace. But I want to know, Maurice, what do you invest in?
Property.
Okay. So no stocks.
No stocks. I feel bad.
But
that's why I got to get a Robinhood app.
That's
why I get a Robinhood app.
I mean, you know what? It'll be a new user right here, Maurice
Yeah,
Claret.
So my investment philosophy will be follow the Trump.
Here we go.
Yeah,
or follow the administration.
Follow the administration.
Elaborate. Why not?
Without
Bo?
a doubt.
Go ahead.
So you have to. This is just. I mean, to me, it's common sense investing.
Right.
You have to, in order for you to understand where the money's going to go, you have to figure out what does he support, and then
how the rules are going to be.
Yeah,
made.
how the rules are going to be made. What companies fall directly in line with what he's doing. If you look at the body cameras and the companies that produce these materials, basically these are the companies who are going to benefit. Like literally what he's mandating, if a company doesn't have the outfit to produce and supply all this stuff, like I can be a mom and pop body camera place, right? I'm not going to get the contract because I can't fulfill the agreement or fulfill this deal, right? And if I'm mandating all this stuff across the nation with so much stuff going on, be it with police shootings and everything else, like this, it's only a matter of time before, the stock obviously makes money. And you could just literally, you could just almost sit back and watch and who he empowers and some of these things and what goes on in China and how does that benefit the American economy. I watched a documentary the other day. I know maybe on a tangent, but
it's halftime, Mo.
It was a documentary called Rotten, and they were talking about the honey industry and how manipulative that is, and these honey trees that are these bees.
I didn't know they made a honey tree.
No honey tree, yeah, no. So
is that like the money tree?
No, they so what it was talking about that these bees are basically, they have these bee hives or whatever all throughout the country, and the bees pollen get to eat off these little flowers, and then they come back and they stick the honey inside of the beehives, right?
Yeah, the combs.
And so the honey industry basically that was being manipulated from China directly affected these bee farmers, right? I didn't even know they had bee farmers. And so what was happening was that these bee farmers would they started messing up business, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because China was producing fictitious honey. They were basically producing syrup, right? And then they would any barrel from China was 3 times less the cost than American honey.
Of course.
So then they were coming through like, okay, we're going to put these tariffs on China. We're going to just tax the shit out of them for all stuff coming here. So they start shooting the boats down to other countries, Germany, everything else, and they start sending them from there. And so then this went on for a few years, and they was like, okay, well, they're just sending boats and ships and containers down to fucking...
And then coming up. And they're still making money.
And they're still making money, right?
Wow.
So then they found out how to test that if you have fictitious honey, because honey is used in so many products. So the honey production is lower, but the consumption of honey has quadrupled, right?
Interesting.
And so they were talking about all the uses and teas and natural remedies and some like this.
Yeah, because it's a natural sugar.
But what else do bees support? The second biggest thing?
No.
Almonds.
Interesting.
So they take these. So since the honey industry was being affected so much, they take all the bees in the world and not in the world, in the United States, and take them to California. So almonds are only grown like in this northern part of California, and these huge ass almond fields. And so the bees get let off in these little colonies around these almond trees, right? And so they come and fucking pollinate them,
Yep.
and boom, you have almonds now. So now these people who were bee farmers who got basically fucked up, they would come in the middle of the night and just basically steal people's bees. These beekeepers, right?
Steal bees.
I
Hey,
am being
I
super
gotta-
educated
my
right
man,
now.
Hey.
here we go. $800,000.
You got some bee gangsters.
bee
Yeah.
gangsters, right?
Oh.
So, my brother. So I didn't
I'm
realize
about
the
to give you a parallel.
I didn't realize the millions in this stuff. And so you,
Oh, yeah.
you thinking it's
Especially
like
in almonds,
funny.
too.
Millions.
Well,
dude.
yeah. Think about the
Almonds.
consumption of almonds right now with
So-
the health craze.
That's exactly what they said. And so these people were taking these bees and grabbing them, and then they eventually end up getting caught. But the purpose of what I was saying was that if you can look at the companies who benefit from this stuff, and you see where they're at in the open market, it can start to make sense. And so you see how they're regulating this honey industry, right? And if and is the company that Jeremy's running in the United States, is he going to directly benefit from the policies that got put in place
Got it.
that kicks these people out of the game? And so what they're trying to do is make America more competitive with these things in these spaces. And so if they have a company on the open market, of course I'm going to invest in it because the policy's being created, if that makes any sense.
Oh, absolutely. So when Obama was in office, because of, I'll call it ignorance and racism, I was a big, big investor in Storm and Ruger and Smith and Wesson, which are the two biggest gun producers. And it's because every dude who owned a gun shop in America, the second a black man got brought into the presidency of the United States, they went out and they bought as many guns as they could, because the narrative from another side was that the government's going to come and take your guns. So these gun shop owners, literally in every corner of the United States, became millionaires overnight. And I don't own guns. I have friends who do. And they're like, man, I used to buy an AR-15 for $600. Now there's a 6-month waiting list, and they're selling them for $1,600.
Wow.
And you go to every little fucking dude has 3 teeth at the desk. He's a millionaire now. Why? Because here's their sales pitch. Obama's gonna come and take your guns, right?
That's it.
I'll take 10 more. I'll take 10 more. But what's funny is Trump is pro-gun, pro-NRA, which
Yeah.
fine, let him be that. The stocks ain't doing what they were doing, but he's
Yeah.
pro-gun and pro-NRA.
There's no
so
scarcity.
again, understanding culture, like
Yes.
Warren Buffett's man said. And,
Charlie Munger.
That's
yeah.
how they always invested.
It-
You got to own the railways. That's taking the corn. That's taking the syrup. It's all that stuff. It's impressive. All right, so make sure you guys can get your free stocks such as Apple, Ford, or Sprint at biceps.robinhood.com. And all you young investors out there, this is a way to practice. You have to try it out. Maurice is going to download it on Friday because I'm forcing him. Not because I'm forcing him, because he wants to.
And what you guys have to understand is there's real savings here.
Yeah.
So, I like I said on the show, I've spent over $5,000 in a year in trading fees.
Yeah.
Robinhood does not
Fees.
charge you
Just in
trading
fees.
fees. Okay, back in the day before there was online trading, your broker would charge you $50 or $100 to buy equities or shares of stock. Now, Robinhood is not charging you trading fees.
It's huge.
It is enormous, and for people who do not have a lot of money, and even people who do, who the fuck doesn't want to save money?
Of course. It's amazing.
Yeah.
All right, John, maxeffortmuscle.com for all those muscles. Build a stack, nootropic, all kinds of fun stuff coming out. Give them the feedback. Tell them why you're feeling so jacked.
No, I mean, feeling jacked always. But
Focused.
But besides that, I mean, I really want to talk to this listener base about what we got coming out on the Focus end. They've been hearing it, and they're going to keep hearing it, because I know we're so proud of what's been created, because it's going to contribute to the things we talk about on this podcast.
Yes.
To people going out and achieving goals, and everything's naturally occurring, and it helps your cognitive just cognition. You know what I'm saying? And I'm excited for people to try it, because I know it's gonna be a leader, and
Well,
we're gonna sample it for people too.
Yeah, we're going to sample it. We're ordering 50,000 samples, I
Yeah.
think.
Yep.
which is a lot.
That's a lot.
You better keep away
You're
from
gonna, I
me.
mean, because Mo, you're gonna be
Mo,
like,
you're going to be cleaning a lot
cleaning-
of houses,
yeah,
bro.
you're gonna be cleaning
your
house all the
You're
way.
going to be packing some boxes.
I need it.
You're going to be doing Warrior fucking 2.
Yeah,
This guy.
I miss yoga all week working.
Dude, I did too. I missed yoga all fucking week,
That's
too.
a problem.
I know I love it when it's a problem.
We're gonna be 1 minute over here, but are the Cavs getting swept, Mo?
Next.
Yes.
I think they are too, and I'm pissed
Hey.
about it. All right, back to the show. All right, so we're back, and here's the thing: we see it on social media. You guys like it when John Fosco is lit up about topics, things that are bothering him, things that you're being a bitch about.
Man.
And so, John, we went over the topic, we killed it. You know, these guys chasing money over building business. Is there something that lights you up, like within that, or anything at this point? Just hit him with it, Johnny. Hit him with it.
I think it's that.
We're both waiting.
Yeah. I think it's any adult going to work and relying on other people to motivate them, give them direction, or need others to operate and do what they're supposed to fucking do as their job on a daily basis. It's like, from a leader standpoint, right? You can lead people. You can spend time with people. You can say, how can I help you? You can say, I'm fucking available. But people fucking move slow. They fucking ask the same fucking questions, and then they fucking wonder why things are tough. They wonder why things aren't moving the way they would fucking like them. And it's the same shit. I'm tired of having the same fucking talks with the same fucking people about the same shit. It's like, dude, when you walk into fucking work, you don't need to be a CEO to know what the fuck you have to do for 8 hours. Like if you want to collaborate. But fucking A, dude, like you don't need another man, if you're a professional, to tell you what the fuck to do. You should know what the fuck to do, and you should look for input and ideas from others. But if you're sitting there and it's like, what should I do? It's like, you suck at your fucking job. You fucking suck at your job, and you're not contributing to this fucking environment. And you know, it's like, you can only invest so much into a dipshit who doesn't fucking get it. It's like everyone from me to you to Mo, we control our own destiny, right? We walk through the fucking door and we got to figure it out.
Yeah.
And we walked through the door at one point in our life and we had no power. We had no money. We had fucking nothing.
Word.
But we had to fucking drive. We had to drive, and we didn't sit there and say, what should I do? You know what I'm saying? The way we got there is by doing. And then the people above you recognize this dude does shit. He gets shit done. And then you fucking move up. If you have low energy,
Yes.
right? If you have low energy and you sit there like a lazy ass and you're like, I'm working. Dude, everyone can see it from a mile away. You ain't fooling me, dude. You ain't fooling anybody. And all you're doing is fucking yourself. You are fucking yourself. And people just want to look to the outside and they want to say, I didn't get the direction. I didn't get the. Ask for it then. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Ask for it.
I'm asking for it.
Be resourceful. There we go.
I think this segment started off amazing.
Hey.
No, dude, these are grown men. These are grown fucking men who can't figure out how the fuck to do their job. I'll hand it off. I'll hand it off.
Well, I'll speak to that, and the reason I was shaking my head and laughing, and he gave his version of it. I went through those series of emotions, right? Just thinking about people who we had, and why do I need to motivate you? Why should I tell you to do something that you filled out an application to do or you volunteered to do, right? And I went from frustration to how do I programmatically fix this, right? And one thing that I did, and it was just a shift in perspective, that's all it was. I said, okay, I learned a lot from team sports my entire life, right? And I've been on some teams that lost, but I've been on more teams that have won. And one of the biggest things that I drew away from teams that won was the expectations on how we function were a lot different, right? And if you couldn't meet the expectations, it was we're going to create a path for you to be out of here, right? And it went from I'm happy that you're here helping me to, hey, this is the standard. If you can't meet the standard, there's somebody else that we can replace you with.
Playing time.
And we'll replace you with. So just take Ohio State. I'm just using Ohio State because the jersey's right there, right? And when you go to Ohio State, you're not saying like, hey, Urban Meyer, I'm happy. You're happy that I'm here. No. It's I'm here, I need to perform, and if I'm not performing, I got to go, or I will go, or that is the culture. And so what that does, it drives the behavior from everybody. So if you're lackadaisical, it's not going to be me who gets you out of here. The expectations on how we do business here is going to get you out of here. And I'll programmatically, and this is what we started doing. So I made it very clear to our team. I sat down. This is the reason I've been back up there 3 times. So think whatever energy that you hit, this like hit my vein and went straight up to my neck, right? You know what I'm saying?
Right to the carotid.
Yeah, it hit me right in the neck, right? And so what happened was I said, okay, I'll give you the resources to do your job. I'll give you a clean line of communication,
Exactly.
and I'll give you an outline of what's expected, right? But if you don't do it, right? So this ain't big lots at Christmas time. We can't be hired. Like if max effort is supposed to be what it's supposed to be, we can't have big lot workers at Christmas time or any holiday seasonal help sort of energy here, right? We need the highly most capable, efficient, and people who sort of can control themselves. So I gave them this example, and I said, if you can't meet that expectation, you have to go. Nothing personal, but there will be a process of you being written up. And so I did them a favor. We're going to put a huge clock up here, which I shouldn't have to do. We're going to put meeting starts at 9. You come in at 9:07. That's a write-up. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to
How many people did you let go?
No, so I gave him a clean slate. So, okay, so I can't hold you accountable to something if I've not made sure that I've made it very clear.
But I'm saying once you have given them a clean
I
slate.
just did it this week.
This week.
I just did it this week. And so, but now we understand. So now you don't say, I heard from him, I didn't hear from him.
Expectations there.
So are you ready as a leader to say, all right, I laid it out, you didn't do it, completely remove the fact that you like your guy and say,
yes,
I'm sorry your family can't eat.
Yeah, so no. That has nothing to do with me. His family has nothing to do with me, right? The expectations are clear.
Right.
I've created an agreement. So a working place environment is nothing but an agreement. You agree to do something, right? You didn't meet the expectations. Right. It's not about you. Right. You didn't deliver. You can't be here anymore. It's that simple. It may hurt emotionally to some people, but where I'm at right now, my business is more important than one person messing it up.
If you want to be a leader,
yeah,
you can't stray away from that. And I think that's where people struggle is when others' heads are metaphorically on the chopping block. We insert, well, they're good. Did I not do something? Do I need to give them more? And at the end of the day, we can't work for people. And if you can walk up to somebody as a leader and not know what the fuck they did for the fucking day, but all you get in return is I did this, and you can't see, you can't touch, you're getting fucked in your ass, fucking, and you're the dumbass. You know what I'm saying? And I won't be the dumbass. And sometimes I feel like the dumbass because motherfuckers don't do shit. And maybe I'm dressing myself down right now because at the end of the day, you should have work to show for at the end of every day. Every human fucking being that participates in whatever we're talking about, in whatever business, you should have something to show for every day. If you don't,
So
hey, what Jim Tressel tell you? Third series, first game, right, Mo?
If you don't make it happen, I'm putting somebody else in.
Straight up.
Yeah,
That was 3 series in. First game. He put himself on the chopping block. Said, "I'm going to start a freshman from my hometown."
Yep, put a freshman on the chopping. He put me in the game. Said you have 3 series to make it happen. First 2 series I didn't make it happen. Third series I made it happen. I changed my life. Right. But
Forever.
It was very clear. Right. And so
Mo, if you don't fucking break one,
I can't. I got to give somebody else a shot. You know what I'm saying? And so that's
politics.
But the older I get, that's the agreement, right? So I was going to say
Is it
something.
politics or reality?
Well, it's reality.
You ain't getting it done.
But that was his reality. That's what I was getting at. He knew it.
Absolutely. I give you another person who made me feel a lot more comfortable, right? And the massive amount of employees. I don't know how many employees GE has, right? Jack Welch, 10% of his company is gone every year. Every year since they've been in business, he gets rid of 10 people, the bottom 10%. You're not performing, you can't be here. Right? So it's you all's job and my job in our organizations to say, hey, this is what's expected, right? And they should all understand clearly. Clear understanding. This is what we expect, right? If you don't meet these requirements, there needs to be somebody cycling people in here who's going to meet those requirements, who are going to do it. That's how you build company. That's how you build tradition. That's how you build brand, period. Right? But if everybody's just coming here and freestyling, they can say, okay, John and Cory, y'all didn't give me expectations. So our staff was saying our expectations and what we wanted weren't clear. So that's a problem with leadership.
You cleared
right?
them up.
I'm going to clear this all the way up. Right? So if you bullshitting, I'm not firing you, firing yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Right there. And, you know, this thing hit me, and I think I shared this with Cory. So my girlfriend has a friend who works for Nike in Shanghai, and she was talking to her at like 11 in the morning. Well, that's like 11 at night in fucking Shanghai. And she was still at work. And she's at the lowest fucking level, and she ain't making a lot of money, right? She's got a position where she does some cool shit, but she's still at work. And I'm like, what time does she fucking start, dude? And she's like 7 a.m. 7 a.m., 11 p.m. Dude, is there any secret why they're fucking Nike? It's it. That's over. That's why they're fucking Nike.
The people.
They're not fucking bitches. If you're not fucking performing, if you're not bringing the most to the goddamn company to accomplish a goal, you're fucking out.
It's that simple. I think he even made a great point around it the other day. You made a great point that I actually used for my staff. And you said that us being friends is a luxury of working somewhere, right? If we happen to become friends, have something in common, but the main thing is the main thing, right? And Warren Buffett, right? And I say it, right? Very grateful to meet him, but he said the most profound thing. The most profound thing, he said that the bottom line is the bottom line, right? And he said the number one rule is business. There's 2 rules in business. Number 1 is don't lose money. Number 2 is don't forget number 1.
Exactly.
And number 2 is don't forget number 1.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying?
Amen.
And so if somebody comes in the way of that,
Yeah. I wish I had some guys that understood that back in the day.
yeah, it's 2, but the bottom line is the bottom line. I don't become the wealthiest, or I don't stay within the top wealthiest 5 guys in the world for over 30 years without applying simple principles.
And
but
he got 2 rules.
just think about this. He's a look.
That's amazing.
He's a nice guy
Sure.
to us.
Yeah.
But
To you.
So just he's a nice guy to the world. He's like
Yeah.
everybody's grandfather, right?
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't
But I
have.
bet behind closed doors, he's probably.
So if he's not producing, he's not producing, they have to go.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that he's probably put out massive companies that can't make it happen.
Yeah.
Or
he's probably had to uproot many CEOs when he's bought stuff or had major interests. I mean, he just knows.
Period. But in that process, I'll give a more personal story. Even though we were doing what we were doing and we were making money and we are making money, you could be making money and there's still inefficiencies in your program.
For sure.
Right? But when you look at them, you can say, okay, these things have tightened up. We could be doing better. So I had to have a conversation with somebody who was in a leadership role yesterday. and I know it was going to be uncomfortable for her, but I said, hey, what's most important is the us moving together and forward as a company. But that's what had to be done for the betterment of people. But it wasn't personal. She digested it as being personal because nobody wants to say that, hey, I'm responsible for something that's not going the way you want it to go. But that's just it. But that's professional sports, right? Hey, I'm Dez Bryant. I'm Jerry Jones. You think you're the shit. I don't think you're meeting what I would like to say is my sort of fashion of what I would like a Dallas Cowboy to be, both on and off the field. You have to go. Love you. Love what you contributed, but you have to go. Hard conversation they probably had to have with each other, but it is what it is. And so I don't that doesn't even bother me no more. I don't know if it's happened over like the last 2 weeks, but it just don't bother me no more. Like, I can have a personal relationship with you, but I can also tell you, like, bye. Because you at the end of the day, it's a contract, my man.
Yeah.
Like, these are contracts. Like, when I come to employ myself somewhere, I'm signing an agreement, and it's no difference than if you went to the store to buy some food and you gave them all your money, they didn't give you all of what you ordered, you'd be pissed off. But sometimes we allow it with employees in our life.
Yeah.
They're not giving all of what you pay for, and why do you become pissed off? I'm pissed off because I didn't get what I paid for.
Right.
But if expectations are set, I think it changes everything, Mo, because then there's no gray area.
No, there's no gray area.
But that would be, I'll put that on myself. That's my failure, right? Or in a position relating to Max would be our failure if we let ourselves be upset because someone's not performing. Because at the end of the day, Warren Buffett, who grew a zillion times more as a businessman than I have, has gotten past the getting upset. It's just that you're gone, who's next, and moving forward, right? So the growth as a businessman that I need to that I need to take on is, this shouldn't light me up. It should simply be, you're fucking out. And my connection to you personally, like we talked about on a previous show, doesn't matter. But Warren Buffett, like you said, he's the nicest guy, and I'm sure he's still the nicest guy. When he's letting you go, he's just saying, this paper doesn't say that you're worthy of the job. Someone else can do it better.
It doesn't make you not nice.
Yeah, it just means you can't perform.
Right.
Yeah.
All of us want to go play, running back for the Seattle Seahawks. But there's an expectation of what that guy needs to look like, run like, jump like, break tackles, have yards after contact, catch the ball. And if we all go out there and try out and we don't meet those expectations, we can't perform for the team.
He ain't getting the job.
Doesn't mean Pete Carroll's a bad guy. Doesn't mean the owner, Paul Allen, I don't know if he owns them, but doesn't mean these guys are bad guys. It just means we aren't meeting the expectations. And so also in this position of owning a business, right, there's a place that you have to go to in your brain to become callous, right? And you need to know that you're signing up to, at some point, let people know the harsh reality about them. And we don't grow up in a society where it's normal to let people know the harsh realities. It's almost an outcast, right? Mm-hmm. So, that goes into the everybody gets a trophy mentality. Everybody's nice,
that goes to not teaching us our actual history mentality.
Yeah, 100%, because we don't want to hurt any feelings. And so it becomes uncomfortable because you have to tell people about, are the only time that people want to tell hard truths is when we're arguing. I have to get into this mode of telling you
defense.
Of defense. Yeah,
counterpunching.
I got to deliver that in a hostile setting, but oftentimes in these working environments, it's not hostile. It's just you're not measuring up, and that's what happens. You know what I'm saying? Or what may seem tougher in a smaller company. People come to you, Corey. People come to you, John, because they genuinely like you and they're sold on you, right? So if I come to a smaller company, it's because I like the people involved in it, right? But that causes a personal relationship, right? So it's personal. Like we're together. I want to help you build this thing, or I want to help you to accomplish something. So there's a personal connection. When you go walk into fucking Walmart is like fucking massive. There's no personal connection.
No personal connection.
But that may even be how you rework the HR process in saying that. So the next people who come on and say, hey, I know it's a small company. I know are not small in
if we
numerical.
want to be big, we got to act big.
Yeah, but even to deliver this, like say before anything happens, I have no problem letting you go. Like, I want you to know that right now. Like, you may have followed me on Instagram and so Twitter and everything else, but my man, if you're not meeting up to standards, I may let you go. And so these are things that I feel like, because I've had friends come into our business, right? And I said it to a group of people, but if I could say, let me do something again, I would say before coming to the door, like, hey, listen to me, I don't have no problem letting you go, and I'm totally cool with that. But we've established that mentalities that, look, this dude will fire me. You know what I'm saying? And then
I won't even let that happen. I've had multiple inquiries from family and close friends, and I'm just like, I'm going to have to fire you probably one day.
So don't even
I don't even think we should
don't
do
even
it.
cross the line.
And they were like, what do you mean? But I'll be awesome. I said, well, the chances are you probably won't be.
But you know what happens? Because, but then it becomes the personal thing that they digest was like, what do you really think about me?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I didn't think about that. I just thought about the process of what's going to happen after I have to fire my cousin.
No, but hold on. So follow me on this one.
Yeah.
The process of them is like, if you think that you'll fire me, what do you really think of me?
Yeah.
Or if you won't hire me, what do you really think of me? That's even before you get into a relationship.
Sure.
Like, because I've had family members reach out to me for jobs, right?
I'm sure.
They can't get a job. My cousin's down there having a job. Can I get a job? Like, almost like just, can I get a job? Like, they don't even know what the fuck they're applying for.
Hey, I was nervous when I hired my mom to do customer service for the site. I was thinking, I'm fucked. What if I have to fire my own mom? I can't do that.
It's an easy explanation. It's simply a numbers game, and I've explained to people because, like I've said many times on this podcast, I've lost my 3 best friends from business. It's easy. How many people come into a business and spend their whole career working there, right? There's a parting of ways. So this relationship, me to cousin, whatever, is more important to me than a job for you. I know you need a job, man. I can give you some tips when I have some free time, but dude, if I have to fire you, it's gonna fuck our relationship up. That's more important than you needing a job.
70% you're gonna have to fire him. Maybe
70%.
maybe more with your family. It's just probably not common because they think they can get away with more.
Because they're gonna have an expectation.
Yeah.
I even say that, like, but even what you just said, to keep that important, you know what I'm saying?
Hugely
like,
important.
I don't know. I guess it comes like, you have to talk to family members about what you value and what's more important, and that's easy to say. Hey, like, prime example. This may be for later listeners who probably didn't listen to the beginning of podcasts when we first got together, but even when I came here, Corey, what did I say? Hey, look, however you want to do, cool. Whatever deal you make, whatever we agree to, I'm totally cool with.
Well, because our friendship's been awesome this whole time, and I never wanted it to be.
I don't need business to get in front of this, because where I'm at in life, I just value having a conversation with somebody who I like. I value just being able to have a friendship. Friendships, like, this is real different, but it's the same thing. Like, like, this was maybe 4 weeks ago. I got jealous of my friend for having a long-term friend. You know what I'm saying? And so my friend was I really got, like, jealous. It was like a little.
You're counting another man's friendship.
Yeah,
not his money.
I was being a hater, right? So look, I was really being a hater, right? So we were outside of a restaurant. This is like serious stuff, right?
I believe you, God.
We were outside of a restaurant, and he just got done. He got done hosting an event, and so his one friend was so here we go. My friend ran for state rep, and he won the primary, right? So when he won the primary, all of his friends had came up. And so it was like fucking like a Tuesday night or some shit, you know what I'm saying? And there's one dude, very super successful financially. He drove up from damn near Kentucky, the Kentucky and Cincinnati border. And he was like, man, I wouldn't have missed this for anything in the world. And so, like, this was an event he could have probably called his dude on the phone and said, yo, congratulations.
Yeah. But
he drove all the way up. He was like, man, we've been friends for like over 30 years. And I was like, damn. I was like, this motherfucker really been on friends for over, like, I just thought about that. That was like 30 years. He wasn't the only one. It was, man, I've been cool with him since the 6th grade. I've been cool with him since we were in elementary school. But then this wasn't like I just seen the story. This was like, they just came from a trip in South Carolina. So 25 of them every year make sure they go to Hilton Head, play golf, fuck around, rent a house, just do man shit, right? So as they were talking, they just kept on telling these stories, right? And I was like, damn, this is fucked up because I don't have any like my friend I just told you about, he just did 18 years in prison. We don't have like a history of like doing shit together. And I just started to think about with me, like, I don't have, like, I can't name, probably couldn't name 5 people. So I guess you get a little bit older and you start to realize, like, I didn't have that sort of friendships that I do have. I don't want to just be fly by
When'd you come back to Ohio, Mo?
2010?
12?
12, yeah. October 2012.
I think that's the businessman's curse, right? Because it's all about, a friendship is all about prioritizing time. It's about prioritizing time to call them on their birthday, prioritizing time to say, hey, how's your family doing?
You're awesome at this, ain't you, John?
I'm the worst in the world at it.
That's
I'm the worst in the world at it.
He said that multiple times.
I'm
That's
the
why
worst,
I brought
right?
it up.
So
I'm not very good at it either.
I know that I don't prioritize time, and I know I got a couple of good friends because they understand me, and God bless, they understand me. If they didn't, I wouldn't have them. But if I prioritize time to say, hey, I'm not going to talk about my work schedule or anything else I got going on, and the 3 of us are going to go on a trip every fucking year, and everyone prioritize their time. Everyone's got their own shit, but you know what? We're going to prioritize time like we do for business. That's how you, I believe, cultivate, keep, and grow friendships. But I think it's like the businessman's curse, right? Because we prioritize everything, for the business and for ourselves.
And everything else.
And I expect my friends to call me, and they're scared to call me. They're scared to call me. They tell me, gee, I just know
perceive your own.
because they perceive I'm busy, which I am busy. But I say,
They
hey,
don't wanna
we've been
interrupt you.
We've been homies since we've been 6 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Call me, because I'm gonna make time every time. But
you ain't calling them.
I have to call them.
Right. And
So
I'm
I
the
do
same
end up
thing.
calling them or stopping by and making time, and they're happy. But it's like they're scared, and even though I'm not trying to scare them, it's just interesting.
Yeah, it's people
Hey
are,
guys, I
man.
think we tried to be more organized today. We did, I think, an okay job. What do you think,
Yeah.
Mo?
8, if we were to give it out of 10, I would say 7.5.
7.7.
I mean, we missed black facts.
Oh, well,
Yeah, we'll do that next time, though.
we'll do it next time.
We'll just let you guys
Come
wonder what
on.
that's about. All right, so you guys got to make sure and check out Robinhood. Go to biceps.robinhood.com and get a free stock. They're going to give you a free stock, John. Actually, they've already given us free stock. They're going to give free stock to Mo. One free stock on Saturday when they're not open. Apple,
Right.
Ford, or Sprint. They'll give you free stock. You guys got to check it out because they have no trading fees. And maxeffortmuscle.com for all your supplement needs. Build a stack. Any 3 wonderful products plus a T-shirt for $100, or any 5 wonderful products and a T-shirt for $160. And keep your eye out for the new Focus Nootropic / we can't tell you the name of it yet because we're trademarking it.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, motherfucker.
Somebody steal your shit.
Exactly. Make sure you smash that subscribe button and give us a positive comment and a 5-star review, because why would you do anything else, Haven, other than a 5-star review? Have you reviewed it yet, Haven?
Oh,
Get
out of here.
All right.
Oh, man.
All right, we appreciate you guys for all the support. Jeremy's giving out free T-shirts at Business and Biceps Instagram, so do the caption contest.
Yeah.
There have been some pretty funny
Funny-ass
captions, so
comments.
we would advise that you do that so you can get a free T-shirt with our mugs on it. And lastly, can the podcast be stopped?
The podcast can't be stopped.
I wonder why I didn't cut off today.